response team is going to go to the control room and help out. But,
That's really good that the control rooms have it, because the leak could be in one area and they have to get out. They have to be safe to get
yeah,
out. too.
they have at least one area where they can go right away. They can regroup together and from there decide as well what they are going to do next. And obviously, when they are inside that control room, they have access to the equipment.
Right.
And as you know, now most of the equipment can be operated remotely.
Yes, which is
And
good.
if they have access to control room, and even in the case like a digester house, because we know we're using CO2 over there and ammonia, these are two gases. We can also operate from a remote control room. We can go to another department and operate the equipment from over there.
Okay. Wow,
which
that's
is
really good.
one more way again to try to
Protect.
accelerate the procedure, because it's good to know what to do, but if you don't have access to the controls, you're not able
It's
to
not
do anything
good.
about.
That's right. How did Tembec advise the Civil Security Committee?
The way it's done to the use of the gas phone, because as I said, the emergency response coordinator for the town is one of the person that we call when we use the gas phone, and from there it's going to take over. And our role is going to be to supply this person with information.
As to what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. That morning, every 10-15 minutes, we were calling Pierre and telling Pierre, here's the situation, and make sure that he knew exactly what was going on and he was taking the right decision. Because
So-
from there, he's going to decide what he's going to do.
With the town.
And that's the reason, as I
Okay.
said, that we decided that morning to use the portable gas monitor to have a better
View.
idea of what was going on.
Yes.
Make sure that the information that we're passing on to Pierre was accurate, because again, one of the very important elements in a situation like this is to not create a panic, because when people are panic,
Bad things could
obviously
happen.
we never know what's going to happen. And if we want this operation to be a success, we have to make people to feel comfortable and not relax. Relax is a big word.
It's a big thing. People
But at
do
least be
panic.
able to stand back and look at the situation and follow the procedure, because the town from there, as soon they know that is important, they are going, for example, going channel 13, and they are going there'll be a message for the people as what to do. They can turn on their radio too, and now whatever, and they get the information from there. And it's very important that they follow the instruction, because
Yes.
the people in charge of the implementation of the emergency response procedure, they know what they have to do.
That's right. And
And,
if too many people are panicking, it could be dangerous too.
Exactly, and you have to say, these guys, they know what they are doing.
That's right.
Let's listen to them and do what they ask us to do.
That's the biggest key factor is people do panic.
Yep.
And I know some of the people packed up their kids and went to North Bay.
Yep.
I know 3 people that did that. Just packed them up and went to North Bay because of panic.
Yeah.
And
But the safest thing to do that morning was to remain
your
inside and
Okay.
shut down, close all the ventilation system. This was
keep
the
your
s-
windows closed and
yeah,
shut the ventilation.
exactly. And from there you're safe, and you just watch on the TV and see what are going to be the next instruction.
I think too, what was tough, Francis, was when the sirens were going around, it was hard to understand what they were saying, because they were saying it repeatedly, but it was very hard to make clear because all your windows were shut, so
Yeah.
people did panic.
Yeah, if there's one area that we need to improve is the siren itself, and
The alarm system.
yeah,
Okay.
and that siren that morning, I think was activated around 7 o'clock also. What we realized that morning is that there's a lot of new people who
People in
that
town
moved
knew.
very recently in town
Yes.
that were basically not aware of that alarm.
Alarm. Yes.
And what we're going to do, and this used to be done many years ago, once a month at a fixed time, the alarm was activated,
Oh.
and from there the population was familiar with it. The population
knew it.
knew what it was meaning, and
Yes.
from there they knew that they had to go on channel 13 also and to rush for the instruction.
Yes.
And we're going to do the same as soon we can get set up to do it. We do the same for the emergency gas phone too. And every week, it's not on a monthly basis, every week we activate that system. And two reasons for that. First, make sure that it does work.
It works,
Because it's
yes.
very important that it does work when we need it.
That's right.
And second is to make people comfortable when they receive a call. Because can you imagine if you receive a call at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're told that there's a gas leak at the mill and you need to do this and this and this? I'm sure you're going to probably miss
Half of it.
90% of the message.
That's
because
true.
you're going to be so nervous. You're probably going to panic.
Yes.
But if every week you call, you're going to feel more comfortable, and you understand right away what's going on. You're going to also understand the importance of the call, and make sure that you don't miss anything.
You have to listen.
Because
observe.
you know that from there you have to do something with the information.
That's right.
That you're not called as an individual. You're called as somebody who has something to do.
That's right.
And
we all have steps to do. Everybody has something to do.
And if that person does panic, the next step are not going to follow.
No,
Because
you're right.
a
Because they'll
person
be too nervous. They would have forgotten.
Yeah.
The alarm, Francis. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. The alarm that's at Tembec, is it the same alarm for a fire that it is for a gas leak? Is it the same sound?
No, it's not. And we used to have in the past a card available, and on that card we have all the different alarms and the codes, in other words. And it's one of the things that we're going to reactivate too. Make sure that people are aware if you get this type of alarm, this is this type of situation. Because when we have gas on the site too, we have an alarm only for the site.
Okay.
And we're going to evacuate like a department.
Right.
But obviously the alarm for to evacuate the town is a different alarm. Because it need to be audible at further. And further, in other words.
Further, yes.
And we have to make sure that it sounds very loudly, and it's a different.
Clear, very clear.
And what we're going to do, as I said, we're going to reinstate this practice. It's going to be done routinely every month at a fixed time, as I said. But before we do so, we're going to inform the population that we're ready now to do it, and don't panic if you hear it. The first Tuesday of the month at 1 o'clock. This is
That's good.
the alarm for that. And
yes, that's really good, because then the people will be made aware that there will be no excuse that they wouldn't hear the alarm, because it's going to come on a regular basis that they'll remember the sound of the alarm.
Exactly. We have definitely to make them familiar with it.
And more at ease, relaxed, which is good. Which I'm really happy to hear that the alarm is going to be tested, because myself, when I heard it and when I called at the time office, 6:45, I believe it was, there was a lot of commotion in the time office, in the personnel area. Lots. You can hear the commotion. And the comment was, do not come outside, stay indoors, and do not come to the mill, which was okay, which was a good thing. So to me, I think with the alarm, the practice of the alarm, I think it's going to be good for the people not to panic from it. They'll get familiar with it. And that was another question I want to ask you. In that time office, there must have been, I don't know how many people, because you went down. Was it controlled? Was everybody well under control?
Is that there was a lot of activity going on, because you have to imagine you have people coming in, people coming out, and you have to get organized, like people coming in. We asked them to sign, because we wanted to make sure who was in, who was out.
To know where they are.
This is very, very important.
Sure.
And which does mean in very few minutes you have to set up a lot of procedures.
Yes.
And you need people. And that's only there were so many people. And as you know, also the time office is the place also for people to meet in the morning and blah blah blah. And,
but it was organized, Francis.
The way that we're going to manage this, hopefully I hope it's not going to happen again, but if ever it does happen again, we're going to have a room that is going to be dedicated for that type of
response, emergency response.
Yeah.
Okay.
In other words, that we're able to isolate ourselves from the other people and make sure that we can do more easily the work, because that morning was quite difficult. And,
because everybody was the same thing.
As we don't go very often to that too, is that everybody was trying to help out. And in the first place, if there's one area we need to improve to, this is in this area. we have to understand that we have a role to play, and we have to stick to our role and make sure that we play it well.
Yes, yes. And
I think it's human nature. You try to help out everybody.
Sure, because you know that there's still people in the mill, and the responsibility, your responsibility, and the responsibility of the personnel officer, or even myself as an employee, you know there's people in there. So if you can help out in a way, I don't know, sometimes just making phone calls for somebody, you know, that makes a big difference. I personally, I think that from the time I called and what I was told, okay, I had a hard time hearing the siren going through with the words, but from what I've been told from everybody, it went really, really well at the time office. The situation at the time office, people didn't seem to panic down there. They seemed to be online, like really well.
If there's one thing we were blamed too, if I can add, it was that we did a couple of things a couple of times, because we wanted to really make sure, like the message on the channel 13, we called first.
Which is good.
And normally it should be the town, but we didn't want to wait. And we said let's make sure the population is aware and so on. And the town took over later on. And but we wanted to make sure that the information was passed on right away, because it's very important that the first few minutes that we inform the population.
I agree.
And, if they have to close their windows, shut down the ventilation system, has to be done as soon as possible, because it's one way to contain also the incident at home.
Yes, that's true. And getting it on the channel 13 on the radio as soon as possible will also reduce the panic. Before they hear things and not see something, it would reduce that again.
There were also debriefing session. Every time we have an emergency response at the mill, the emergency response team is going to hold their own debriefing meeting. Obviously, there was one this morning for them. That morning, also we had one with a larger group, because as we had to, as this leak spill was involving the citizen, we had also people covering for the communication. We also included this group part of the debriefing, because there were things to improve, like the alarm I mentioned. In the afternoon too, there is a regional committee. They sit in Rwanda. And this is a town of Témiscamingue who is in communication with them. It's the Health and Safety and Civil Protection Committee.
Okay.
And in the afternoon, they sent one of their representatives in Témiscamingue, and he met with the representative from the town and the company.
Okay.
And we went over the incident and make sure that we identified the room for improvement and
took steps.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
overall, I also called personally that morning that committee in Rwanda, because I was not sure that they were understanding exactly what we had done that morning.
Okay.
And I can tell you at the end that the message was very positive. They congratulated both the town and the company for having worked together very well. And they also congratulated the company, and they said they would like to work with all the Tembec of this world, because Tembec did the work very, very quickly that morning. Yes, they did a couple of things, couple of times, but
it's okay. We learn from that.
They were just trying too hard to help out. That's it.
Yeah, but that was good.
Well, I was quite happy about this.
I think, honestly, it went well. And you were saying areas of improvement. One would be the alarm. Is there any other areas, Francis, where you would see would need major improvements to be done?
Communication is always an area we need to improve. We always say we never communicate enough, and it's true of an event like this. And I think it's always going to be true, even if it's a bit sad saying something like this, but there's always ways to better communicate. And in this type of situation, it's really a key factor, as you said, because if we inform very well the population, obviously we'll be able to do a better job at containing the event. And this is the part that we have to do at the company to help out the town to implement their plan and
the plan.
And
like I said, it was on both radios. I noticed that it was on the channel 13. There was something. Some people, I think, maybe in an area of improvement. It's just a point. Some people can read, Francis, but or some people can hear, but they can't read as we're getting older. Or some people just can't read. Do you think it would be wise to have some kind of a recorded message with the written message that's on TV for the ones that cannot read?
Yeah, these are the kind of things that we'll have to look at. But
Okay.
these things are going to be looked at by the committee in town.
Okay.
We have two representatives on that committee, one
Okay.
covering health and safety and environment, and they are going to meet together, and these are the kind of
Points.
improvement that they'll have to look at, because a lot of these suggestions came obviously after they did this event.
That's right.
And what was important for us is to note down this suggestion and see what we can do to improve in these areas, because the traditional ways of reaching people are not necessarily the best one today. And
It was
we have
very
to question
good,
them, and
but it's maybe something extra for the ones, like I said, that can't read, or there are people that can hear, like, you know, the two ways, having it written or having it oral, at least one or the other will be good.
yeah, I was told also about people having these antennas at home and satellites.
Oh, yes.
I never thought about this before, and this is something that we have to deal with now.
That's a big factor.
And it's one more reason to get the alarm. To have this practice once a month for people to know when we activate this alarm. They have to go somewhere.
Yes, yes.
You turn on your radio or your TV, but you do something.
You have to. You're right. And if they don't have the channel 13 because they have the satellite, at least they have the opportunity of turning it on the North Bay station or the Ville Marie station.
Yep.
Another source of getting the news to them. I agree. Well, every area is needed for improvement.
Yep.
And this was the first time for Tembec, and even before Tembec CIP. As far back as you remember, has this ever happened before?